Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel and the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel. This is the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube portion where we discuss a variety of pro wrestling related topics. This is the Raw review for the 6th of June 2022. Not really a fan of the show, but I don't know that I've been a fan of Raw for a very long time. The injury to Cody Rhodes does set me back because Cody Rhodes, other than Roman Reigns, probably my favorite act in WWE at this moment, so him being out of action, not good. They show Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. Hype package explained that Rhodes suffered a brutal pec tear injury but competed in the match anyway. Corey Graves announced that Judgment Day promises to reveal a new member in 2 hours. Graphic includes countdown clock, so basically we know that no one's going to sit through the show. Decent opening segment for Rhodes, though. Rhodes makes his way to the ring to a big pop. They show various messages from wrestlers and fans praising Cody for competing in the match even though he was injured. The crowd breaks into a Cody chant, he can barely move. The injured pectoral area. Rhodes welcomes everyone to Monday Night Raw. Fans break into a thank you Cody chant. He discussed his injury but didn't want to bring him down. Rhodes mentioned his daughter watching his performance last night. Someday, Rhodes then gives a passionate speech about not giving up and fighting against one of the best in the game. Seth Rollins, fans started Cody chant, fans booed Rollins, and Rhodes notes that he doesn't like him either. Rhodes pointed out he beat Rollins in his final match of the trilogy. He added that the feud with Rollins is over. Rhodes is ready to move on to what's above him. He looked up the Money in the Bank briefcase hanging above the ring. Rhodes talked about winning Money in the Bank. He discussed the possibility of healing in time and winning the Money in the Bank. Fans are happy with this. Seth Rollins' music hit and he makes his way out to the ring, slowly limped to the ring. Rollins admitted that he still hates Rhodes, but Rhodes earned his respect. He praised his gutsy performance last night. Rollins notes that Dusty is very proud of his baby boy, and Rhodes became emotional. Fans chant for Cody. Rhodes mentions, Rollins actually says that shaking his hand after the night after WrestleMania. Now Rollins wants to shake Rhodes' hand. They shake hands. Fans cheered. Rhodes wanted Rollins to walk to the back and was surprised. Graves notes that Rhodes is getting surgery this week and doesn't have much time to heal for Money in the Bank. Rollins then slowly walked back up the ramp, waving to the fans. Rollins runs back out and attacks Rhodes with the sledgehammer. Referees and officials try to break it up. Back from the break, referees and officials help Rhodes to the back. Graves, Jimmy Smith, and Byron Saxton discuss the attack. Graves and Saxton felt Rollins should feel ashamed of himself. How do we not know this is coming anyway? They showed Bianca Bel-Air versus Becky versus Asuka video package. That's all we show on these shows anyway. Becky Lynch versus Dana Brooke ended with Brooke winning the 24/7 title in 40 seconds. During the entrance, Lynch is upset about losing last night. Lynch kicks Brooke at the bell, and then out comes Akira Tozawa, Tamina, R-Truth, T-Bar, and Reginald run down. Tozawa gets in the ring. Brooke rolls her up and wins the 24/7 title. Somehow this is a finish to a Lynch versus Brooke match. Anyway, so Lynch is furious, but not because she's in a 24/7 segment. Only Lynch wins titles in her matches. She demands title shot against 24/7 champion Brooke right now. She has that nobody in the 24/7 division could interfere. Dana Brooke defeats Becky Lynch in 2:13 for the second time. Match didn't help anyone. Match starts when we come back from the break. Asuka's music hit and she walked out to the ring. Lynch is distracted by this. Finish comes when Lynch goes for the manhandle slam. Brooke reverses. Asuka held Brooke down so she could pin Lynch. This is just horrible. They announced John Cena returns on June 27th to Raw. I'm not sure that anybody cares about that either. Miz is in a decent enough segment. Riddle, Miz, and Maurice have some decent moments, although it feels more like filler than anything entertaining. Miz introduces the love of his life, Maurice. This brings cheers for the crowd. Miz notes that tonight is a celebration because of the premiere of Miz and Maurice after Raw. Do people actually watch that show? Anyway, Riddle comes out. Fans are chanting for the bro. Riddle introduces himself to Maurice and tries speaking French. Miz mocks Riddle's attempt and mocks Randy Orton in the process. He also tells Riddle to leave, and he tried to change the subject. Riddle tells Miz to shut up because he does have something to say. He's tired of fighting Roman Reigns' minions. Riddle wants to take something from Reigns. He promises to defeat Reigns for the undisputed Universal title. That would be good if they actually had treated Matt Riddle correctly. They could actually do this. Anyway, Riddle challenges Miz to a match right now. Riddle pointed out that Cena's Peacemaker, but Miz plays Homemaker, and he mocks Miz and says he has tiny, yabos. And then Maurice tried to help him and said that he has average endowments. Anyway, so Miz points out that he's in a tuxedo and not dressed to compete, turns down the challenge, and starts to leave. Ciampa jumps Riddle from behind and nails him with a knee to the head. Miz changes his mind and decides to accept the challenge. Riddle defeats Miz in 2 minutes 20 seconds with Maurice. Why have a 2 minute and 20 second match? Who knows? Anyway, fans are into it. They pop. Match starts during the break because we don't care about matches. And then firmly in control, Riddle fights back. He then catches Miz with a draping DDT and sets up the RKO. Miz avoids the RKO and rolls out of the ring. Riddle then tries to kick Miz, but Maurice pulls him out of the way. Riddle chases Miz and rips his pants off. Riddle then avoids the purse and hits the RKO in the ring for the win. This is just horrible. Championship contenders match. Street Profits defeat the Unified Tag Team Champions, the Usos. Decent match because they're given 16 and a half minutes. Finish, though, not so great. Street Profits earned a shot by winning due to a countout. They could have easily scored a pin, and it wouldn't have hurt them at all. Street Profits wasted no times. They go for near falls early. The Usos regroup at ringside. Jay backs Montez Ford into the corner and beats him down. Ford then fights back with some hard chops and a standing drop kick. Then Owens runs wild on Jay, and then there's a close 2 count. Back from the break, the Usos give Dawkins double spinebuster, gaining control of the match. For their trouble, they isolate Dawkins on their side of the ring. Jimmy hits the Rikishi splash and stomps on his hand. The Usos regained momentum after throwing him into the ring steps. Back from the break, Jay scores a near fall on Ford. Dawkins then made a blind tag, and Ford hits a dive onto Jay. Jimmy then hits a dive onto Ford. Fans start buzzing, and Dawkins hits a flip dive, wiping out the Usos. Finish comes when Ford and Jay are brawling outside of the ring. Ford goes into the ring post. Ford then recovers and dumps Jay over the barricade. He then jumps back in the ring, beating the 10 count. After the match, Riddle runs down to celebrate with the Street Profits, and they will receive a match against the Usos in the future. Bobby Lashley's up next for the promo. Bobby Lashley makes his way to the ring. Lashley claims that MVP and Almost are now in his rearview mirror. He's about to announce his plans for U.S. Champion, but U.S. Champion Theory interrupts. Theory walks to the ring and makes fun of Lashley for needing help to win last night. Theory told Lashley to leave his ring after taking a selfie. Lashley is furious and demands a match. Theory flexes his bicep, but Lashley puts him to shame. Lashley then challenged Theory to a title match, and the fans are happy with that. Theory turns down the challenge and added Lashley doesn't deserve a title shot. Lashley then heard enough and knocked Theory out of the ring to end the segment. They then recapped Veer Mahan attacking Rey and Dominic Mysterio. They let Veer Mahan defeat Dominic Mysterio with Rey via DQ, 9 minutes 18 seconds. Weak finish. Earlier today, Mahan promised to beat Dominic in front of his father. Dominic makes fun of Mahan during the early stages, series of kicks, and a brief advantage here. Recovers and rocks Dominic with a pretty hard tackle. Mahan then takes over and tosses Dominic out of the ring, grabbing him and throwing him into Rey. Back from the break, Mahan then is in control. He then goes for a power slam. Dominic slips out. Mahan misses a tackle, and Dominic gives him the 619. Mahan nails Dominic with a clothesline and sets up a submission. Rey jumps in and attacks Mahan for disqualification. He follows with 619 with Mahan on the floor. Judgment Day reveals its newest member. Decent enough segments. Edge introduces Finn Balor as the newest member of Judgment Day. Balor, Priest, and Ripley turn on Edge in the process here. Edge, Ripley, and Priest make their way to the ring to reveal the newest member. So he's not going to hold back anymore. They do the what chant. Priest mentions Ripley competing in the number one contenders match later. Edge speaks out and tells the fans to listen because the adult was talking now. He praises Ripley and Priest. Edge adds that this is the message they spread. Edge introduces the newest member, Finn Balor. His music hits. Balor gets in the ring and shakes Edge's hand. Edge is surprised to hear from Balor. He notes that he saw a change in Balor's face during the match. He adds that Balor reached out to Priest and Ripley. Balor then has clarity now. He thanks Ripley and Priest for helping him. He's impressed when Ripley stood between him and Edge. Balor spoke with Priest and Ripley and realized that he had a lot in common. They're tired of being told what to do. Priest speaks to Edge and talks about everything he did for them. He added that they're ready to shed the last thing holding them back. Priest looks at Edge and rocks him with a clothesline. Balor, Priest, Edge, and Ripley turned on Edge and beat him down. Edge then tries to fight back, but Balor and Priest take over. They drag Edge out of the ring. Priest then gives Edge a razor's edge through the announce table. They pull off a piece of the chair, and Bel-Air locks on the crossface, with Priest giving Edge a concerto. Maybe Edge is leaving. Maybe they needed extra baby faces. Who knows? Anyway, referees and officials run out, try and break all this up. They recap Bobby Lashley beating Almost an MVP with Cedric Alexander with help at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Almost with MVP defeated Cedric Alexander 6 seconds. Basically, backdrop setting up an angle between the two. Almost comes in and hits the tree slam. Match lasts about somewhere between 5 and 10 seconds. Ezekiel defeats Otis 218. Why have them get dressed for 2.5 minutes? Otis rocks Ezekiel with a forearm, gaining an early advantage. Throws Ezekiel across the ring and then slows the pace down. Ezekiel fights back but couldn't knock Otis down. Otis tries to fight back, but Ezekiel catches him with the crucifix for the win. After the match, Ezekiel calls out Kevin Owens and challenges him to a rematch next week. Owens comes out and notices that he's in a good mood. He agreed to the rematch, so long as Ezekiel admits that he's Elias right now. Ezekiel takes the mic and admitted that he was Elias. Owens was thrilled and celebrated. He was so happy to be right. Ezekiel confirmed that he's got a rematch next week. He then admitted that he lied and he's not Elias. Ezekiel rocks Owens with a jumping knee to end the segment. This is just goofy. Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair makes her way to the ring to watch the next match. They recap Finn Balor turning on, or jumping Edge out and all of that. Fatal 4-Way, Rhea Ripley defeats Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, and Doudrop with Nikki Ash, 14:34. Decent Fatal 4-Way match and a decent main event with the ladies on top here. Doudrop and Ripley clear the ring early and they face off. Ripley catches Doudrop with a super kick. Doudrop fights back with a back elbow, but Morgan and Bliss pull her out. Ripley then catches Morgan with a clothesline to get her back in the ring. Ripley then beats down Bliss and sends her to the corner. Ripley then is in control at ringside. Bliss jumps on the apron, but Ripley catches her. Morgan then drop kicked Bliss, and Ripley and Doudrop they wipe out Morgan. Back from the break, Doudrop is in control with a chinlock on Bliss. She follows up with a splash in the corner. Morgan then jumps back in and rocks Ripley with a drop kick. Morgan then catches Ripley with a Rana. Doudrop then hits a splash on Bliss for the next fall. She then hits a sit-up powerbomb on Morgan for the near fall, and then Doudrop and Ripley fight out over the top rope. Morgan and Bliss gives Doudrop a double powerbomb as Doudrop superplex Ripley, spot we've all seen before. Bliss then goes for the Twisted Bliss. Morgan gets to her knees up, and Doudrop tosses Bliss out of the ring. Morgan goes for the Oblivion on Doudrop. Nikki Ash interferes. And then Doudrop hits the Michinoku driver on Morgan for near fall. Ripley breaks that up. Ripley then hits a Riptide on Doudrop for the win. Fans pop for the finish. Ripley takes on Bianca Belair at Money in the Bank. Finn Balor and Damian Priest come back to pose with Ripley as she stares down with Belair to close the show. Decent close to the show. We'll be back with more right after this.